Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Combat Patrol magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and of course, drop me a comment down below. I love hearing about from you guys. It goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, obviously, as you can tell here, we're on issue number 38 of good old Combat Patrol magazine. It is the part 2 of 2 for our Chaos Space Marine Hellbrute. So we get one sprue, we get the base, and away we go. So now we can build the entirety of that Chaos Space Marine Hellbrute and have a bit of fun with it. So pretty cool stuff. The build guide was in last week's issue, so definitely worth checking out and getting him all assembled, and away you go. Obviously, we discussed last week, you do have build options for this guy. The magazine wants you to build it like that. I do kind of agree with it, having the hammer and the cannon, just to kind of get you going. If you are going to go for a bigger army and you get another Hellbrute later on or anything like that, or if you've bought multiple copies of last week's issue and this week's issue to have multiple Hellbrutes, by all means, change the weapons. Have a bit of fun with it, and your choice. But yeah, you can have these little tinkerings with it. Going into the issue, though, obviously we have our How to Paint guide. Now, the How to Paint guide, in all honesty, as with all the Chaos minis, my recommendation is spray paint. It's so much easier than just brush painting all of your undercoating and base coating and such like that. So you want to use a Bad and Black. If you're going to use the Bad and Black spray from GW, it can be quite expensive. You can get cheaper alternatives, say like from Colourforge or Army Painter and such like that, which will save you a bit of money. If you are going to order anything like that and you want to order some paints and you need some more supplies, or you want to get some more minis or anything like that, by all means, I have some affiliate links in the description down below, one for Element Games, one for Wayland Games. If you order using one of my links, it will give you, you save some money because they tend to be cheaper than GW, and it gives me a tiny cut of whatever you spend. Not a massive amount, I can't retire on it unfortunately, but yeah, it all helps out. It does really help the channel out if you're doing these type of things as well. Anyway, if you are going to go a Bad and Black with it and you want to use a spray paint, Colourforge do good old matte black is their exact match to this. You can get other exact matches to other GW paints. So for instance, there's an alternative to Lead Belcher, there's an alternative to good old Corn Red, there is an alternative to good old Corvus Black, and quite a few other colours. There's a colour chart on the Colourforge website, definitely worth having a check out because you can get some 1-for-1 matches. And then you also have a slight link to Vallejo and good old Army Painter in there, which they have some comparisons to that. It's not 100% match, but it's very close to it, or the closest it can be to it, but their exact matches tend to be more aimed towards GW, so definitely worth having a nose at. Anyway, going on from there, the one thing I will say is Squig Orange for the flesh. I must admit, I don't agree fully with it, although it does actually look like it works quite well. Personally, I would want to go something lighter, so I don't know, mix some Squig Orange with, I don't know, some good old Kislev flesh or something maybe, or a little tiny bit of white paint. So like, I don't know, have it 3 parts Squig Orange to 1 part white, Corvus, good old Corax white, may work, and give it a little bit of a lighter tone. And then you can go with your shades over the top and change it and everything like that. That may work, it may not, I don't know. But that's just me thinking out loud. Obviously, there are other colour schemes that you can find online. So if you do want to have a different paint scheme to this guy, you can do. Have a look around on YouTube. There are different paint tutorials, I'm sure, absolutely for this type of unit. And yeah, have a bit of fun with it. Anyway, from there, Lead Belcher, Retributor Armour, good old Wraithbone, Marakar Flesh, Mephiston Red. Then you're going to go into your shades. So your shades are going to include your Null Noil, Agrax Earth Shade, Reichland Flesh Shade, and Carroburg Crimson. So, utilising all of them gives you a alright looking mini, really. It gives you a very good starting point. Obviously, you are going to be adding edge highlights on later and some more finer details here and there, and you'll have a pretty good looking unit at the end of it. So, pretty good stuff. It works fairly well for the way that they want you to do it and the way GW have pretty much kind of gone through with it. Yeah, you'll do all right, I'm sure. It's, yeah, not bad. Anywho, moving on. We get more information about the Warzone, so a bit more lore for good old Warhammer 40k. Warzone Nephilim. After the fall of Cadia, much of the galaxy was consumed by warp storms, and communication between worlds was severed. Gradually, these storms began to subside, but some areas, like the Nephilim sector, remained mysteriously silent. Troops were sent to investigate, but nothing could have prepared them for what they found. As the warp storms that had ravaged the galaxy abated, Imperial commanders were troubled that some areas where communication could not be restored. The Nephilim sector was one such place, and battle group Calades was sent to investigate the mysterious phenomenon. What they found was terror and panic as the sector came under Necron attack. More disturbingly, psychic malaise that the investigators dubbed the Stilling had descended upon the population, leaving them limp and glassy-eyed. The investigators realised that the phenomenon was caused by a large series of activated black stone pylons that had been placed by the Necrons. So, the Necrons, a big bad from good old Warhammer 40k. They are one of the most coolest looking races, and also one of the oldest races in the entire history and lore of Warhammer 40k. So if you do not know, the Necrons used to be called the Necrontyr. They used to be humanoid, and they kind of went head to head with the old ones, and realizing they'd been betrayed by the Catan, they went head to head with the Catan later on, after they had been biotransferred into living metal walking skeletons, because they had a very short life, because their planet where they were from basically was a very horrible sun that kind of left them very, very bad and very, very ill, and basically shortened their lifespans massively. So they were very troubled people to get involved in all these conflicts, and then they went into the Great Slumber and then re-emerged much, much later on in the Warhammer 40k universe. Pretty cool though, pretty interesting and pretty different. Obviously the other big player being the Imperium of Man for that area. So if you got good old Imperium magazine, which was for the last Warhammer 40k magazine, you got Space Marines, which included things like Marni's Calgar, and we got a good old Dreadnought, and we had the Infiltrators and such like that, and we had other minis that did not come with this good old Combat Patrol magazine, which included some really cool ones. And we got Necrons. We also got Sisters of Battle, and we also got Adeptus Mechanicus as well. But they were the big minis in there, which were pretty cool, and the Necrons were really, really awesome. So you get a bit more information about certain battlefronts as well, and different systems within the Nephilim sector, and certain kind of anomalies, maps and such like that as well. So you can have an idea of how everything was going and how bad everything was going at exactly the same time. So a bit interesting and very, very different. But yeah, always really, really cool to have these little bits in there if you want all your lore and you want to learn more and more stuff about everything and about the wider story of Warhammer 40k, which is very, very wide in all honesty. These are the type of places for you. So these are the pages that will do you well, which is pretty cool. And then obviously you get the big players within this battle kind of scenario, and the Warzone Nephilim as well. So obviously Rabute Gilliman, the leader of the Ultramarines, the Primarch, the High Lord of Terror, who is kind of tasked with making sure humanity, one, survives, and two, prospers into a new era of triumph and glory. Illuminor Xerus, one of the major technomancers and one of the few named good old Necron units, which is pretty cool. He's a really, really cool technomancer, and he likes to do a few experiments, mostly on living humans, because they're trying to reverse the biotransference into the living metal and have their own bodies again. Ethereal Stern, who is one of the Sisters of Battle, a loyal warrior of the Imperium, and her faith in the God Emperor left her immune to the effects of the stilling, so she's still able to use her own strange powers in the fight against the Necrons. And then obviously the Silent King, the leader of the Necrons. So the Silent King is an ancient Necron leader and ruler of the Sargon, said that wrong, haven't I, dynasty. He aims to deny the younger species any access to the warp and such like that. He had essentially instructed the Necrons into their slumber for millennia and went off on his own little journey without slumbering himself. Anyway, moving on. We get more information about the favoured of the gods. So obviously there are other Space Marine chapters, not just the good old black Chaos Space Marines that we get in here. There are, of course, many others. So some of those who follow the great Chaos powers will dedicate themselves to a single one of the gods, bargaining their souls away for whatever they most desire. These maniacal followers will often serve until their deaths, striving after the rewards and the glory that their patron deity can offer them. So, there are a handful of Chaos Space Marine chapters, to be realistic with them. There is the Death Guard. So the Death Guard are the devotees of Nurgle. Their minds and bodies are corrupted beyond recognition, and they spread their vile contagion throughout the galaxy with warped delight. They have been blessed, but not only with near endless resilience, but with an abundance of poxes, plagues, and diseases to be resilient against. So, they're a little bit more interesting. If you got Conquest magazine, which was the first of the 40k magazines, because this one is the third run for a 40k magazine in recent years, the main ones you got were the Death Guard and the Space Marines. So that was kind of the newest kickoff, essentially, that gave us the good old Primaris Space Marines, and it gave us the Death Guard units, which are also really, really cool. They're a little bit chunkier than regular Space Marines. They have, some pretty cool looking weaponry, and they also have a lot of rotting armour and such like that. And they have some unique units as well, which is always really cool, and some pretty cool bits and pieces as well. Then, moving on, we get the Empress Children. Obviously, the Empress Children have seen a new release, so you can get Noise Marines, which are pretty cool looking. I do like them. I do like that kind of that uniqueness to them. They are devotees of Slaanesh, and they even were a bit like that at the beginning of Horus Heresy. So they murdered millions, either for sport or to render their corpses down to make even stronger stimulants and such like that, because they seek a lot of pleasure, as Slaanesh, devotees generally do. Then there is the Thousand Suns, one of the coolest Chaos Space Marine groups, chapters, armies that you can pick up. The Thousand Suns, they are the devotees of Tzeentch. They look very Egyptian themed. They have these kind of big headdresses. They utilise a lot of psychic abilities as well, and they have some really cool units. I must admit, if I was going Chaos Space Marines for a Chaos, or going for a Chaos army in general, the Thousand Suns is the way I'd go, because they are pretty damn cool. Moving on though, and sticking with Chaos, we had information about Nurgle. Nurgle being one of the great Chaos gods, he is the master of diseases and plagues, and he delights in rot and decay, revelling in the life that springs from anew from death. Nurgle is known by many names, but often his followers call him Grandfather Nurgle. Among the faithful, he is thought of as a kind and generous figure who loves all forms of life. He is particularly enamoured with disease and affliction. Nurgle's works often intrude on real space though through warp rifts, which pour illness and disease, infecting nearby worlds and transforming them into incubators of foulness. Nurgle is a giving god who loves to share his dreadful and vile gifts with everyone he can, which is probably why they were calling him Grandfather Nurgle. But obviously, the name Grandfather Nurgle also kind of does not just exist within Warhammer 40k. He is also known as Grandfather Nurgle in good old Warhammer Fantasy Battles, or Warhammer the Old World, and Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So pretty cool and pretty interesting. And obviously, because he does exist in all of those ones, with the Chaos Demons, you can utilize a lot of them in different good old scenarios as well. So, for instance, if you have some good old Great Unclean ones, you can utilize them in 40k and Age of Sigmar, which is pretty cool. So, happy days. You get a bit more information about different kind of factors within the forces of Nurgle. So, Poxbringers, the Feculent Normal, Plague Drones of Nurgle, and Rotigus as well, who is one of the particularly feared great demons of Nurgle. Moving on from there, though, we get obviously more rules, so because we want to flesh out all our cool rules, so stratagems and how to utilize them. So you're going to get a few more bits of these. When you're using stratagems, you can use some of them you can use on either player's turn, some of them you can only use on your turn, and some of them you can only use on the opponent's turn. You need to have a good idea of what these do and how to utilize them, so you can use these whenever you want. But they're pretty cool and pretty interesting, and it gives you a bit of idea, and all of them obviously cost you command points. Pretty cool stuff. Then we're moving on. We have our scenario for the week. So you get an opposition deployment zone. You have your Hellbrute kind of standing there in the middle, utilising a couple of battle mats, and it is smashy nicey time. Have a bit of fun with it. You get to, enjoy yourself, which is always pretty cool. So you can go through with them, have a bit of fun, and see what the Hellbrute can do against pretty much anything and everything. So, pretty cool stuff, pretty interesting, pretty different. Moving on from there, we're going to get more factions, obviously, as we discussed last week. So we have Orcs, which are really cool. They've got the Boomdacker Snazwagon, best named miniature ever. We get Deathcopters and such like that. So there are some really cool stuff in that run. Then we've got Leagues of Votann. We must admit, I'm looking forward to both of these. I'm looking forward to the Orcs because they're a bit fun and a bit wacky and a bit nutty. And I am looking forward to the Leagues of Votann because they are cool. I like them. I have a bunch of these already, mostly unpainted, but I do have a bunch of them already, and now some really cool technological weapons, which is pretty nifty. The one thing I will say with good old Orcs is they're quite fun. They have some really interesting lore as well. So we're going to look out for that, and we'll go through some of their lore at some point soon. But pretty cool stuff. Moving on, though, next week, obviously, we get our Wraithguard. These will be really cool. I'm looking forward to these guys. They should be really good fun to build up and paint and get going with, although I've not painted any of my other Eldari units yet. Anyway, and then issue 40, our last Chaos Space Marine unit, although we have more Chaos units very much later on, we get Chaos Terminators. Now, I must admit, I'm still missing my Space Marine Terminators from the Ultramarines, but, you know, hopefully they actually turn up for me because I do kind of want to build them. They'll be quite good fun. Anyway, that is enough from me, although I am going to say one more thing. If you're in the UK and you are close enough to Birmingham, or you are able to go and you've got your tickets or anything like that, UK Games Expo this weekend. It's come up really quick. I'm going. I go regularly. I go near enough every year. It's going to be really good fun. I am really looking forward to it. I love going. It's the biggest one they've done. They've taken over quite a few halls. They've got more stalls there. There are more sellers. There are more people. Should be really good fun. So happy days. Anyway, enough nattering on from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you sometime soon. Bye now.